Well, I think the first time we wore this was actually at Buckingham Palace, wasn't it? And we thought we'll just make a statement and see where it goes. So we can be quite provocative like that sometimes, but in a very quiet way, if that makes sense. Hello, we're the Singh Twins. We're visual artists based in the northwest of England, and we are primarily known for our artworks which are inspired by traditional Indian miniature painting but are very contemporary in their themes. This outfit is something that we would wear at a very special occasion. It could be a family wedding, it could be one of our openings for our own exhibition. This is a three-piece suit. It's got trousers, long dress and the veil or shawl. We do tend to get drawn mostly 9 times out of 10 to the same outfit. So we might be shopping and we'll both say, oh, have you seen this? And we'll turn around and we're actually holding the same dress or the same, same shawl or something. We should feel very glamorous in this outfit, but actually we feel very uncomfortable because it's really, really heavy. I mean, very heavy. It often takes two of us to help each other get in and out of. I guess the nearest I could come to is perhaps a wedding dress, lots of ruffles and netting underneath the skirt. So you might feel good for a few minutes, but it's the kind of thing you really just want to get into, do the job, get home and get out of it as quickly as possible. We also have to pin it because it's so heavy, so we have to have our pins here and also to keep the scarf on. It's a very slippy material, and if you don't do that, halfway through an evening, this shawl is going to be all over the place. So it's just much more comfortable and gives you a bit more confidence if you use a few pins in strategic places. And we've accessorised, as with most of our clothing, bangles and earrings. So these ones are typical of South India, very heavy gold style bangles. This is matching with the bell earrings, typical traditional style Indian earrings. They look very heavy, but actually very lightweight material, so we sort of have the best of both worlds with those. This outfit is actually from Birmingham, good old Birmingham, Soho Road, where you can buy everything Indian fashion-wise or any otherwise, the makeup, the jewellery, the clothing. I think our style has been influenced more by our own experiences of visiting India, of wanting to reflect the kind of work that we do, and also just feeling very comfortable in these clothes. I don't think we always like to dress smartly and present ourselves well, and I think that's definitely something that our father has instilled in us, that going out in public you present yourself in a kind of dignified, very smart fashion. So I think that's definitely come through in the choice of clothing that we wear. So to go with this particular outfit on a very formal occasion, we would normally wear a bindi, which is, or tikka some people might call it, which is this decorative motif on our forehead. And originally in India, it would be a very simple red dot, which would signify that a lady was married. But I mean, for many, many years now, it's become just a fashion statement for most people. It's not generally something you would wear every day. It normally goes. Not this particularly. You wouldn't wear normally these sort of gold, or you might wear silver and different colours for special occasions. But every day, as I said, it would probably just be a red dot with lipstick or something like that, which would serve the purpose. People are always fascinated, I think, by the fact that we wear the same. It's always a good talking point, but it's something that gives us an opportunity to talk about our experience as artists and the kind of prejudice that we've had being twins and trying to develop artwork in an art world that puts so much emphasis on individuality and the kind of preconceptions and misconceptions that come with that, being twins. One of the questions we usually get is, how do you choose what you wear? Who decides what you wear? Which is one of those old chestnut twin questions, but there's no secret to that. We just, whoever gets up in the morning, whoever's up first picks what they need out of the wardrobe. Yeah, and at a formal event, there's a degree of discussion. We need to get it right and decide and be happy between us that we're wearing the right thing for the right occasion. We're wearing something that we would normally wear on a day-to-day basis, and it's basically a three-piece outfit consisting of trousers, a dress or a long shirt, and a scarf. It's based on our Indian traditional wear, which is from North India, which is where our families come from traditionally. And it's a combination of that tradition, but also with a little bit of twist of an English influence, which is something collectively represents our dual Indian and English heritage. We actually made this outfit ourselves. We used to do a lot of sewing in the days where we had a lot more time on our hands because we couldn't buy the kind of clothes that we liked, so we used to just make them. And this particular fabric, it's a kind of typical, I guess most people call it like a chintz fabric, a floral pattern, which we've always loved floral designs, but it was something that more recently, when we were working on a new series of works, part of our Slaves of Fashion exhibition, we were looking at the history of Indian textiles, and chintz, we discovered, was actually a fabric and a design in terms of the floral patterns that originated in India. And it revived that interest in our love of floral design, so we immediately went out and bought all this floral fabric and made a couple of dresses from that. We're wearing traditional Indian style earrings. These are actually called jhumke, which means bell. And we've also coupled that with a locket. So one of the things we like to do is to design our own jewellery. So this locket in particular is something that we put together, and it allows us to actually show off the little bits of our artwork. So it opens and we can actually change the detail within here to coordinate with whatever we're wearing. Growing up in England as young Asians, we faced a lot of prejudice. We were often asked, are you English or are you Indian? And we've always said that we're both. We are a combination of both cultures, and so the outfits that we wear express that. It is Indian in style with a European twist to it. So on a day-to-day basis, usually it's for work. We have to have a bag of some sorts to carry all of our necessary junk, if you like. So, something that fits the iPad, something that fits in a folder with all our notes. And of course, being in England, we have to have something that also can carry an umbrella. We generally look for things that are really expressive of the kind of work that we do. And so, amazingly, we found an umbrella which is perfect. Actually, it's the first time we've opened this. We love it so much, we've never actually used it, but we thought we should perhaps today debut it. So this is a traditional Indian miniature print on this umbrella, and we just thought it's so perfect. And the tote bag itself, again, it's coming back to showing off our artwork on every opportunity. So this actually details one of our recent works, which is actually inspired by one of the Tudor portraits in the Walker Art Gallery, one of our most favourite portraits of all time. I think we could spend hours and hours in the Tudor galleries there.
I've got one more question, but I don't know.
I don't know how to put it. You just put it on the floor. I wasn't sure whether to do it. With this outfit, we would typically be attending some kind of semi-formal event. So it might be somebody else's exhibition opening, or with ourselves, it would be an artist talk or a meet and greet the artist, something of that kind. So it's intermediate between our everyday wear and what we would really glam up to wear. This outfit was actually designed for us by one of India's top leading designers called Tarun Thiliani, and it's actually part of his collection which he brought out in spring of 2015, which was entirely inspired by our artwork. So it was a very proud moment for us, and it actually includes details of our artwork, including a chance to show off our home city of Liverpool in detail there. So it's a basic Indian style outfit, three-piece again, trousers, long shirt, and the scarf. The trousers are actually very traditional of North India. They're called churidar, which is a very long-legged trouser. They're not quite the same as the European leggings because they're created so that when you wear them, they actually ruffle at the ankles. So there's lots of layers of extra material. The full name is actually churidar pajami, which is where the word pajamas come from. So it's one of the very many ways in which the Indian language has made its way into English use. And we're accessorising it with these earrings, the bell earrings, jhumka style earrings, which are our favourite style of North Indian jewellery. These again have special memories because they were part of a set of jewellery that we had designed in Ahmedabad, which is a city a bit further south from Delhi. It's a classic design, so it never goes out of date. But then we've never been ones for following fashion, so even if it was out of date, we'd wear it anyway. Colour's really important to us. It's a very central part of the work that we do, with our work being inspired by Indian miniature painting that are very decorative and detailed, but use lots of vibrant, contrasting colours. I think we like to be very optimistic and positive with our work, although a lot of the themes that we deal with are not necessarily so. So we look at things around empire and colonialism and politics with trade and enslavement. So quite dark themes in many ways, but the colours are always very bright. And I think we love to reflect that in the choice of clothing that we wear. This links into our work very much because a lot of the work that we do is looking at issues around empire, colonialism and its legacies, one of which is this whole debate around the spoils of empire. And the Koh-i-Noor diamond, I'm sure many people will know, is one of those contentious stones in the crown jewels, which there's been lots of prize for it to go back to India, lots of debates around how it was acquired and whether it should remain in England. So we like to wear pieces like this that are kind of objects of debate, and if people don't know the history of the Kohinoor, for example, when we attend an event, they certainly know about it after the event's finished, because it's always a talking point. Well, I think the first time we wore this was actually at Buckingham Palace, wasn't it? And we thought, let's see, we'll just make a statement
and see where it goes.
So we can be quite provocative like that sometimes, but in a very quiet way, if that makes sense. This outfit is really lovely, comfortable to wear, but it's very floaty kind of style. I feel very elegant in this outfit. Proud to wear it, not only because it's something that's expressing our own work and somebody else's interest in our work, but also because we're carrying a piece of our hometown wherever we go with it, with the cityscape of Liverpool here. Wherever we go, people always ask us about our clothes, actually. People stop us in the streets and say, oh, that's a lovely scarf, where did you get it from? Ladies in particular, they'll come up and say, oh, we just love your Indian clothing, wish we could wear it. And we're saying, well, why not? You don't have to be Indian to wear Indian style clothing. People, I think, tend to think there's a bit of a barrier about what kind of clothing you can wear. And we often tell them the story about jeans, because, people think that a pair of jeans is a very Western style of clothing. And so we tell people, well, the jeans you're wearing, actually they date back to 14th century India, because that's where denim comes from. And so you are actually wearing something that's Indian, even though you don't realise it. We're the Singh Twins, and this is what we wear.